All right, let's get started. Let's jump back into things. So I'm going to talk about a few things today. I'm going to bring up computers and software a little bit. We've got I'm going to show you kind of something you're striving for that a friend showed me. I met with him last week. He's a photographer. Uh, and we just talked some stuff. I wanted to make sure, like, hey, is this all on par? He's like, yeah, it's all good. We made up some other assignments for you. So I'm going to show you something he did to just kind of get your minds going about like how to do stuff and why we're learning this software. We'll do the software. We'll do the layer basics. I'll talk about the other assignment, and I'll talk a little bit about what we'll do next week, because next week is book free. Dun, dun, dun. So let's get started. First, there's some, I don't want to say issues, but things you got to think about. With computers, with Photoshop, with camera, plugging it in, all that kind of stuff. The first one is computer literacy. You got to know how to use a computer, and you have to be able to quickly debunk your computer. Look it up, like, why isn't it working? And there's several steps, and everybody hates these steps, but they are always like the major working steps. Sorry, that screen is blocking my face. Is the it stopped working. All right, shut it down, restart it. The computer here wasn't working. All I did was unplug the back and plugged it back in, and it started working. So computer problems and being able to like quickly solve your computer problems is kind of key, but you don't know about them until you run into them, but they can't be like stop you cold. Like, oh, last week I had a computer problem, and then I'm like, okay, so and what happened? Well, you got to solve the computer problem. You need your computer every day to work. And then you have to be able then, if you can't fix it, know where do I go? How do I fix it? How do I reset? How do I restart? So that's a big part of it. Knowing your computer. If you're not on your computer all the time, like this is a software program where you need to be there all the time. You need to be using it all the time. So the more you're on your computer to find out when I'm going to run into those problems, it's not always you have an old computer. I have a very old computer at my house, but I keep it clean. I keep it, I check for software updates, all that kind of stuff. If you keep your computer kind of like a messy room, it gets harder and harder to work on it, work through stuff. So kind of know your computer literacy. Yes, you're jumping from like maybe a Mac here to a PC at home. They're generally the same. You run into a problem, it's not working. All right. First, restart the program. Still not working. Okay, restart the computer. Oh, but all my windows. That's okay. You can reopen Windows. You can reopen stuff. I often mention too with software literacy, I was working on it and then it wouldn't work anymore and I had to start over. And you know what I say? Awesome. You started over. That's what you should do. Don't just keep clicking away on stuff that doesn't work. Just take a breath. I was working on that for 15 minutes. 15 minutes is nothing. Just restart it. Start over. You get those first few steps. You got them down by heart now. Now you know what to do. And that's part of the learning process. Tell you the old man story. Back in the day, like computers would shut down in the middle of your job all the time. It was like such a common occurrence. The spinning wheel of death. Somebody mentioned that before. Was just like, oh, you got a spinning wheel of death? Yeah, yep, I'm going to go and have lunch while my computer resets, and then I have 4 hours of work I got to redo before the afternoon and get my other work done as well. So it used to be a common occurrence, and you would just work through it, work around it. So understand like the difference of like where maybe some troubles are happening, that like I'm having trouble with the computer and knowing how to use a computer, and then that compounds when you start using software. And especially like heavy software like this. So there's a balance in knowing the two. Sadly, we had a student left us because the computer literacy was as low as the software literacy. And so not even knowing how to use a computer led to, well, I can't even work the software as well. So know that like you need to really know computers well in order to use the software well. And to use that, you need to kind of use it every day. Get it like every day you can. Just get on, do a little something. Open, close, like think of your own projects. I'm going to start setting up projects. I'll preempt you for a project for next week that I want you to get on your computer, open Bridge, but I'll preempt you for that one. So kind of know the difference and where maybe the trouble may be happening. One of them, computer literacy, that one, if I'm emailing you're like, my computer doesn't work, I can't do anything about that. Like, I don't know. I don't have it. I don't see it. I know how to fix my computer because I work on it every day. If there's a problem, I know how to do it. Learn how to do yours. For software, that's where, like, and my first thing for software is going to be like, you got to show me, take a screenshot, and then if not, I'm going to say, just restart the program. You know, like to me, that's like not a big deal. And a lot of times if you save your work along the way, as the book tells you to do, and I don't always tell you to do that, you can save at any moment. And then it just, when you open it, it's going to open back to that saved area. Back in the day, some of us had timers and we have a desk timer. So like every 30 minutes, it was like beep, beep, and you just hit save just to make sure that you wouldn't lose anything big. But it's gotten better. But if that's a thing and you're like, I don't know, I'm always running into troubles, then set a timer, use your phone and just set a timer, like 15 minutes, just go up, save, and then just keep working. The saving doesn't do anything to the program itself. So just kind of be aware of those two things and where maybe you are stumbling. And if you're low here, it's going to take you extra time here. So just practice both. It's all practice. There's no secret weapon. I was talking to another student the other night, and they just kind of were like, is there a faster way to do that? After a point, I was like, no, part of it is your job. It just takes time to do that thing. There's no like automatic auto do it. So that's that. Now, this cool one. So I was talking to my buddy, and you're going to be doing something like this in the future, but you may be like, Photoshop, what if I do it all great in the camera, it'll be great. So he is a commercial photographer. Give me the rights. So he did this piece. How do you think he did it? If you're in the Photoshop classes, like what would be your first bet? Got to set up this photo shoot. They want pizzas like falling. Like, how would you set that up? What'd you say? He layered it. But how do you layer it? Like, so like, is it rigging? Did they drop the pizzas? Did he try to take the pictures all at once? Well, it's simpler than that. He just held each pizza with his hand, had the camera on a tripod, and just took the pictures. And then Photoshopped it all out. So that's why we're learning Photoshop. Is like he created this. This is the style of work he does, and it's all he's like. It's a, like he does commercial photography, not like portrait. Oh, he does do portraits, but like this is the stuff. And he's like, yeah, I know guys who would be like, they would rig this, and it would take them like 3 hours to like hang it by wires. He goes, it took me 10 minutes to do this shot, and I saved that much time, and I still get paid that same amount of money. For the end product. And he's like, yeah, I just held the pizzas, used my tripod, took a bunch of shots. Once you have the base down, you're done. So if you're wondering, like, Photoshop and photography, like, and this is going to be in Milwaukee Magazine, I think. Yeah, I think he did it for Milwaukee Magazine. So just a preemptive, we'll be doing something like this in the future. So just to wet your whistles a little bit. What is the other stuff? So I'll talk about future assignments later for week 5. I think we can jump in. I think we're going to jump into layer basics right now. So I'm going to go to the book. On that note, too, somebody asked about the book. We don't do every chapter in the book, and we're not going to do the book next week. Then we have a few more, and then we start going on to like, I start doing like what I call real world assignments and other things that are outside of the book, but that involve everything that you've been learning up to here to kind of repeat the process and do photo manipulation. This is a lot about photo manipulation here. So let's do it. So we're going to do layer basics. Guess what? you've all been learning layers already. So I preempted you with this. The book worked with it a little bit. I was pushing the book when I was doing, if you go back and you watch the videos, which anybody can do there, I post all the videos and you just kind of fast forward. That's why for like the selection, what is it called? Using your selections chapter. I was like, use layers. Layers will save your life. When I was talking to my friend, he said, make sure the students know, work non-destructively. So you always like save a layer and then you work on layers. So anytime you screw up, you're like, oh, I can just undo that easily. I didn't flatten everything. I didn't ruin everything. So it's very important to know about the layers, why to use them, how to use them, all that kind of fun stuff. But you're already into it. So let's open it up. So I'll go Photoshop and a file, open, it's lesson 4. I'm gonna go to the beach. No, I wanna open start. Big pineapple. Oh, and this is a great one too. The great one, like a bunch of the stuff I've already talked to you about comes up in this one. And again, you can watch, listen, learn. I'm going to stray from the book. So you'll be like, wait, what? I'm going to stray from the book, and I'll let you know when I'm straying from the book to try to make things easier or to make them smarter. Again, I did something in this book. I'm like, wait, they told me to do this, and then they did this, and then went back. I'm like, that's way out of order. Like you would never kind of do it in that order. So that's that. But we all know the layers here. I've talked about them a bunch. It's really good for a few reasons. So like layer them. So when you open this file, you're going to get a postage, a Hawaii, a flower. There's going to be 2 open ones, a background and the pineapple. Again, they layered them, they labeled them. And then you, of course, know about the eyeball is to see it or to not see it. And you can lock your layers as well. There's a little lock here. I never lock the layers. For Photoshop. But that's me personally. I don't think I'm ever working on something so complicated that I have to lock layers. I know I do in the other programs. My other design programs, I'm locking stuff all the time. I don't do it as much in photo, but it is good to know, like, I need that to be like non-touchable anymore. And then you lock it and you can't, whatever you do, I can't move it. If I unlock it, I can move it. So that is a saving grace to some people that like, oh, I just want to make sure I don't touch that. Then you just lock it, keep it away. So that's the main way layers work. So play around, get to know them. Everything should be done in layers. If you're not working in layers, you're doing something wrong. So layers, 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 layers. All right, for this one, we're going to open up a new file. I'm going to say, not new, I'm going to open. And we want to open the beach file now. So what happens is I get 2 tabs. I've got my start tab, and then I have a beach tab. So up at the top, these are called tabs. It's just like a filing cabinet. They're tabs. You have like tabs in a file cabinet. That's what it's named after. They go across, they go along, but you're like, I have 2. But how do I work with these? Well, you can go to Window and arrange. And there's a whole bunch of arrangements to do. But I can do like, you can do tile all vertically, tile all horizontally, 2 up horizontal, 2 vertical. Then you have 3s, 4s, 6. It's just a way that the computer will break those out into 2 for you. So it's easy to work. I usually kind of do what they do in the book. I'll do this for like 1 second and then I'll close it out. You find the best way that you want to work, but like as soon as I move a photo over and like they even kind of tell you move it over, then close that window out. You don't need it anymore. Maybe like once a year, I'll have like 6 panels open at once, but then it's even super confusing because they get smaller and smaller and you lose what you're looking at. Let's do that. Let's just open everything here. Or is there one with more? I'm just going to open up a bunch of these. And you can kind of see, as an example, like maybe like, oh, I wouldn't do all of those. So if I go open, Now I have a bunch. I go window, arrange, and I'm gonna just like 6 up. It starts to get a little tight and a little confusing. And for me, then like sometimes I'm like, okay, this is my original one, and then this one, and it didn't do these two up here, and I get a little confused. So it's hard for me personally to work kind of in this format. It's good when you're just busting out, like, I need to add a picture real quick. You can add your one picture and then close out. But there's again, million things to do, a million different things in a million different ways. So that's the vertical. I don't like that. I'm going to arrange. I want it side by side. And then the great part is they're talking about is I open up this beach and it's called Beach PSD. I'm just going to click and drag. Now here's the kicker. If I hold shift down when I drag it over, it will place that image directly in the middle. See how that happened? Did I put on the right one? Oh, and then I have to name it beach. Then I have to go in and name it beach. So if you don't do that, so there's if you don't do that, I'll hide that. If you bring it over and like if I drop it up here, it should drop it up high. So it'll either drop it wherever you drag and drop it to, or if you hold shift, it will center it directly on your artboard. Why is that good? If you're working fast and you like slide it and say like way over here, it will put it like way off to the side. And then you're like that, then you're like, but now I got to move it back over, you know, just to see it. So just kind of know about that when you drag stuff over. Sorry, let's check. Yeah.
So when I moved it over, it puts that layer at the top, and then I just move it back down.
It will go to wherever you were referenced. So if I'm on, say, the Hawaii layer, it should put it above the Hawaii layer.
Does it matter at this point where it is? Do we want
We're going to be moving it around for this one. We're learning all about layers. They're going to be like, now that you have it here, move it to the top. Oh, wait, now move it back down. It's like, okay, enough with this. Just tell us what you want us to do. So let's get rid of that. Yes, I want to delete that. All right, so I have and I renamed my layer beach. So I'm going to close this out because I don't need this secondary window open. And now I double clicked on it. And as you see, it turns blue and you label it. Know what you name it, label it. Because otherwise you're going to be like, where is it again? And the more you have open, like I have these little things kind of huge. I don't always work with them this big because it takes up a lot of room on the page. And it's just not like viable, you know. Yes.
Question, because I think if one student has it, others might. We have one that's bold enough to ask. Could you remind the student, please, how you got more than one program?
Up in window?
More than one file open to view.
Oh.
When you were doing your horizontal.
You go to File, Open, and you can open as many as you want. What I did is, well, you can just click and drag, and it'll open those 4.
But then you saw them.
Yeah. So, okay, yeah. So then I went to Window, Arrange, and you can arrange in all these different special ways. Tile all vertically, all horizontally, but you have to have more than one file open. Otherwise, as you can see, I don't have options because I only have one open. If I go to File, Open, and I open all of these, as you can see, it just places them across the top. If I go to Window, Arrange, and just pick one, 6 up, it will arrange them in a 6 up style. Can I do more? Arrange. Oh, yeah. So 6 up, it can only do 6 total. And then if you do tile, so if you have more than 6 and you do tile, this is where like, this is not helpful at all. Like, what am I doing with this? So I I think they used to have more and they stopped it at 6 up because they realized nobody's going to be able to see more than 6 little windows. So that is how you do that. Again, I think it's sort of a rarity. I usually pull 2 windows at the most because you pull your information and you close that out because I want to work big. And then I don't always, I'll end up with like a lot of tabs maybe at the top, but I don't do that window distribution. Again, it's 100% kind of like your working style, what you want to do. I'm telling you from my point of view, you know, like sometimes I think most of it is the cleaner you work, the easier it is to work because you're less like fumbling around looking for stuff. You're like, everything's here and it's easy to see. So, all right. So you can do some cool stuff with the layers. And they're called layer effects. Here's how you get to them. You just double click on the layer or layer style, and this will pop up. So you just double click, this pops up. These are all these different things you can do to the layer, and it only affects the layer itself, nothing else. So it's not like when we were doing the image adjustments, and I was like, in the image adjustments, it would do everything unless you click that one button, and then it would only do the layer below. This will do only the layer. And for this, we want to add, which we'll add it. We're going to add a stroke. A stroke is a different term for a border or a line around something. The reason it's called a stroke is that when you paint, it's a paint stroke. So you can adjust the width and everything, but it's naming off of, back in the day, a paint stroke. So all you have to do, and this is maybe what would be a confusing part, is I need a stroke. So I hit the check mark. Yeah, your hands up. I just double clicked on the layer. So next to it, not on the image, not on the word, on the big gray area, just double click. Boop, boop. And there it is. And this will come up. So that's every layer, double click, boom. So you have to realize, you know, to access stuff, to do things, it's going to be like single clicks, right clicks, double clicks. Maybe some of the confusing part is double clicking the image does something, double clicking the word does something, and then double clicking the empty space does something. So you always have to, like, I know a lot of people go in and they think like, oh, I'll double click on the image. Oh, it worked. Sometimes that like, if I right click the image, I get a different panel than if I right click the side. So just kind of know that each little section reacts differently. Then when you get like a layer mask on, then you have another window here. So you kind of have to really pay attention to your layers. So just double click. Now this one always gets me too, is I like go on like, oh, what we need to do is I want to add a stroke. Well, I clicked on it, but what it's showing me is this lighter version up here, blending options. I actually have to click on the stroke and make sure that's activated so I see the correct information there. It's kind of like, wait, what? Why wouldn't it just automatically, when I turned it on, go right to that? I don't know. I think it's because, well, what you can do is you can add like 50 different things to one layer. And so you just have to make sure, I want the stroke. He said add a stroke, or the book said that, right? The book, not me. That you make sure that you click on it, it turns gray, because then you can edit it and change it. Let me zoom in so you can see my changes. Oh. So right now, under stroke, the size is 1. So that's like a 1-point stroke. It's on the inside, it's normal, the opacity is 100, overprint, and the color is black. So they want us to make a 5-point inside normal, 100 white. Did I say that quick? It's so easy. So here, size. And then again, this is one of those you play around with. Size. What happens if I go to 50? What if I go low? Like, this is what it's doing. So you understand, sometimes it's good to play with the sliders a little bit more. Like, what am I doing? Well, the book says just type in 5. So I typed in 5 and I'm staring at the book. But like, move the slider. Okay, I see the bigger it is, the more I move it, the bigger it gets. Great. We want fiber. Nice and thin. So inside, well, what does outside do? It pushes it to the outside of the image. The inside is on the inside of the image, and center does the center line. Well, that looks like crap too, so a good thing. So we want it on the inside. Does that make sense of where it's putting it? So if this is the edge, it's either going to go on this side, the middle, or the outside. And it just depends on your artistic style. Is there a right or wrong? Well, no, but say you have something on the real edge of that image that you want covered up, then you push it to the outside. Something like that. The blend mode is our favorite thing in the world for layers, but I don't know why I need to blend mode a border. In the future, you may. No reason to change that. Opacity, of course, light gray, see-through to 100%. We're going to keep it 100%. And then we want the color to be white. Everybody see me do this, and it's a very quick move. You can go in and be like 0, 0, 0, 0, and like zero everything out. I forget what the number code is, but I simply like tap and drag right to that corner, and I drag off and let go. That gets it to the white. I do that. That's just like my go-to quick design. Like I'm working, I'm like, I need red. I slam it to the corner and I close it and I keep going. If I need another color, I'm like, teal, and I go and I just pick and go. But for like white, I just drag it right off to that top corner and I let her go. And then it does have the codes, but I'm not memorizing codes. It's gonna be white. White is white. So
first we'll know this. You guys will know that it's 255. So it's blowing up. It's gonna be your favorite number.
Is it? So there you go. Guess what? We got the first section done. We got a little white border on our picture of the beach. And then, of course, somebody asked, what do we do next? Well, we're going to rearrange the layers for some reason. We're going to put it above Hawaii. Okay. But I want to show you what else it does. So now my layer here has a cool little FX. So that means I added an effects to that layer. And right down here, it shows me which ones I added. And say I'm like working on something, I'm like, what's it look like without it? You can just use the eyeball right there and turn it on and off. And then if I want more, you just double click and then say, I want an inner shadow and I want a color overlay and I want a pattern overlay and a drop shadow. And you hit OK. Here it goes. It like shows you everything that you have affecting that layer and everything you can change. So I'm just going to double click on that and I take off the check boxes, hit OK, and then it goes back. But the stupid thing is, which I don't like, because I did this at one point, it keeps those on. It doesn't like erase them out of the system, which I kind of think is irritating. But only the one that has an eyeball is the one that will be working. And if you don't like this extra little bit right here, that little triangle closes it, but you still know that there's an effects there simply because there's an FX on that layer. So, all right.
Joel, is what you explained first part of this lesson in the book?
Yeah, but I go above and beyond the book.
Oh, no, I get that. I'm just trying to catch up a couple of that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just talking about layers way more in depth than they talk about layers.
Okay.
Yeah, there was at no point did you need to turn on 17 things there, but I want to go into more depth because you pay for me to teach you, not to just read the book to you. That's a different class and that's cheaper and you learn a lot less. So they want us to turn on everything, and then we're going to move the postage stamp up, and then we are going to see we move it up and then we do something else, and then we come back and then we move the postcard again. So this is where I get really confused on how they write the book. But let's just do what they said to help you guys stay in order. So we're going to turn on everything. But you're like, Joel, I can't see anything that's going on. So I'm going to hit fit to screen, which is Command 0. Learn those quick keys. Kapow, kapow. Never have to like go to view, which one, fit the screen. Look at those. The ones you use a lot, just start to memorize them. I use command 0, minus, and plus all the time. There's 3 in a row. 0 is fit the screen, minus makes it smaller, plus makes it bigger. That way your hand never leaves the mouse, and you're like, oh, I need to zoom in. And then you hit the space bar and you move it where you need to, and then you zoom back out, or you hit fit the screen. All that was just done with one hand and moving the mouse. I never was going up to view or going over here. Like, you use those key commands, and like your hand's always on that keyboard. It's really important. Like, the more you know those, the better it gets. There used to be, back in the day, the undo. You know, the people would be like, I knew Illustrator friends that like would go from traditional to normal, and they'd be like, you know what? I was working and my hand did the undo even though I was doing a drawing. Like, you get so used to it. He's like, I was drawing on a piece of paper and I went undo. And he's like, I'm so used to doing that. It's just an auto that he's like, I forgot I actually had to erase something by hand. So know those, love them, live them.
And then how do you do an undo?
Command Z.
No. Shift command Z. To undo the undo?
Oh, that's redo. Redo is Shift Command Z.
Okay.
Undo is Command Z. Undo, yes. No, I pulled it over. That was the very first thing I did. So I'll keep going, and then we'll double check, and just you can follow the book after I finish the lesson. So you just kind of keep moving with it a little bit, but yeah, that was the very, very first thing I did. And I was talking about all those windows and stuff. All right, let's do change the layer opacity. Which one are we doing? Oh, postage. All right, postage stamp. We're gonna move that slider to 25. They want it to 25%. That's it. So this is it. What does opacity change? So we've worked with this before, and the left, this where it's normal, these change the way it looks. And then here, opacity is simply just like what we talked about. It changes the opacity, and there's a lag of the image, so I can see through it. It's 50% less opaque. They want us to go to 25 because they make it looks like it was stamped. Those are the things we think about as we build our designs for people, is like, what should we do? And so that's always set at 25. I can go off of it. It doesn't change it. If I want to change it in the future, I just change that opacity. It's really simple. It's I'm constantly changing opacity in layers in Photoshop. Like, even like sometimes you do it, and even if it's like 2%, you're like, something in your brain is like, I just want it 2%. And you do 2%. Nobody can see it but you. But you're the designer. You're the artist. You're the person behind it. So
what's the percent? I'm sorry.
25.
What's the percentage for watermark?
20 for the postage stamp, 25.
For watermark.
Oh, personal? You mean a watermark? Sorry, I thought you were talking about that. You're talking, if I want to watermark one of my photos, what should be the percentage? That's 100% up to you. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Depending on how much you want them to be able to see the image.
Yeah, you do a thing that, you know, the whole like goes across the entire thing, or if it's down in the corner, like that's 100% up to the artist involved. All right. We're going to take the pineapple. We're going to duplicate the pineapple, and then we're going to change the layer options on the pineapple. So I'm going to turn everything off so you can see this. This is something I talked about in the past, and it's something I do all the time as well. So we have the pineapple, and I'm like, it's pretty good. It could be better. And instead of going to like layer adjustments, I literally do this first, is I will take the pineapple. I'm grabbing the layer. See how that hand made a fist? I'm holding onto it, and I'm going to take it to the plus, and it makes a pineapple copy. Directly, it's the exact same thing, I turn off that eyeball, nothing changes, right? But what I'm gonna go up and do is I'm gonna go to the layer effects up here. And I'm gonna go to, they want us on the overlay blending modes. Pineapple, what do we want? Overlay. So I'm gonna go to overlay. Now I'm gonna turn this on and off again. And we did this a little bit, I think, with the boy picture. So that's it normally. And I call, like, to me, I'm like, it's just a little washed out, it's a little chalky. But we added just another layer and put overlay, and it really like pops the vibrancy, makes the shadows darker. And it was like a one-step process. And you can go through, like, I literally, I forget this all the time, but there used to be a key command that would cycle through all the blend modes. So I would add a photo and I'll just do this. And I'll just stare at it and like kind of like do every one off to the side until I'm like, see the one that I want. Like I might be battling now between, is it hard light or overlay? They're pretty the same, you know, like, and I'll do that. I'll check every one, take a minute, check every one until I'm like, nope, that's the one I want. Perfect. And then maybe I'd go in and you can adjust, like, do I want to adjust the opacity at all? So it's a several step process, but it's all to your eye. What do you prefer? Is there a right way? No, but like what looks good to you? I think this looks better than kind of like the washed out pineapple. Like it's a lot more pop to it, to me. And I don't know any better words. I know that's a lame word to say. It pops. I write that to people. I'm like, I want that thing to pop. I'm like, I don't have a better word to use. So, oh, okay. This is what I'm, so now we did it there. Let's go back up to that postage stamp, because the postage stamp is going to be coming. If you don't change the layer opacity, sometimes if you just change the layer opacity without changing the blend mode, the overlay looks chalky. I like to use that word a lot. So we want it to like seem like light's getting through it. And so for that, we want to change it. What did they say to change it to? I just got off of it. Multiply. So multiply lets a little bit more of that black come through. I'll zoom in and see if you can see the difference. It's kind of good to like look right here where I'm circling, and I'm just gonna go to multiply. It just lets like some of the darker darks come through, so it doesn't seem so much that it's like on top, but it's like in it.
So why did we make a copy of the pineapple layer, but not a copy of the postage layer?
Because the postage layer, we wanted it transparent. If you make a copy of the postage layer and it's at 25%, well, now I just duplicate it. Now it's at 50% opacity because I have 25 plus 25. And that's why. So that's that. We did that. There's a whole section on the blending modes in here. It's the yellow, you know, the yellow part in the book that everybody skips. It does describe like what each one does. I could probably read this like 100 times and still have to like each time, because it's like a little magical. Like you could say multiply does what the name implies. It multiplies the selected layers color values with the, yeah, but you know what? You telling me that doesn't literally show that. So I just need to see it. Like I want to click through it and see it. All right. We are going to take our beach picture. We're going to make it smaller and we're going to readjust it. That's super simple. We've done it before. We'll do it again. So you just have to be on it. All right. So I activated all my layers. Up here, I'm on auto select. All right. And now I have also show transform controls. If I don't have either one of these on, this is what it does. So for select, auto select will only select when you click on the thing on the layer that you have activated. It's kind of confusing. There's good times for each of these. It depends on how overlaid you are and how much surface area each layer is covering. there's a point where auto select will no longer work. That if you have like really like blend modes that like go over on one layer and then another, it'll just kind of, it'll click on the nearest pixel to you. So that's why there's auto select. Here, everything is kind of separate. I can click on each one. It knows where it is and it will go to that one and move it. But if I have auto select turned off, I can't move this postage stamp. Why can't I move the postage stamp? I'm trying to move, no, not the postage stamp, but the picture here. Well, I have to be on that layer to be able to move it. So you have to double check that. The other one, how come I can't change the size of it? Well, you should have your show transform controls on. That's just going to add these little boxes and make it easier to do your manipulation. And if you're like, I hate seeing those, just turn them off when you're done. You know, you turn it on, use it, turn it off when you're done. I just keep them on. For Photoshop, this is the weird part. We don't have to hold down shift. They said make the postage stamp 50% of the size. I'm viewing. So here I started. I got to undo. Look up here. Width, height. I'm just going to watch these numbers until they get to 50. And we just make it small. I'm grabbing a corner. I will say this too. I feel like this is, I'll age some people. Don't grab from the middle or the middle. Like, I feel like that's an old timey thing. Like people like would size it and it was easier to just grab a flat side and change it. Just, if you're sizing something, just do a corner. Like just never, I don't know when I ever go in from the side to change something unless I purposely like want to do something weird. I always grab a corner. So just get in the habit of always like resizing, do a corner. You'll get more control. So I have it at 50 there, and then we're going to rotate it. And you can rotate it. Again, you just go above the corner. It's just like anything else. I can size it. If I'm on top of those handles, it changes my arrows. Here, I have like, it's going to scale it. If I keep moving out, it changes to the arc, which means I can rotate it. So, and it's going to rotate from the center of the piece. I don't think Photoshop allows you to change the center point, nor do I very much do that anyway. But right now, I'm just doing it. My hand's off my keyboard. If I hold down Shift, I'm going to constrain it to 15-degree increments. See how it's clicking? So that's what holding Shift does. And then I'm going to do 15 degrees. And I'm going to put it like right here. I'm referencing the photo in the book, and to which I'm referencing right here. They have that corner pointing at that little stem. That's all I'm doing. I'm checking that. You save your file. All right. I'm going to show you something I never want you to do. All right. And it's atrocious, especially if you're in photo. So we're going to create a new background. So I'm going to go on the background layer. I'm going to make sure I'm clicked on it because I want to add a new layer, and I want that layer to just go above the background. So if you're working and you're like, okay, next thing I want to do is change background and add a new layer, like you may then just click new layer, which is something I would do, and then be like, oh, now I have to pull it back down. So if a new layer will always go above the layer that you're clicked on, if that makes sense. I forget that all the time, but it's easy to just quickly move a layer. Now I'm going to type in the word clouds. Done. We're name that clouds. Now we're going to go to our color palette, and we're going to do white and blue. So the blue, they give us a color. So all I'm going to do is double click on the one here. So this is, again, the black on mine, if you're looking at my screen, is the foreground color. It's in front of the white, which the white is the background color. These are swappable, but these are the two colors that are activated at the time. So like you can quickly choose between two colors, but if you want another color, then you have to go in it and change it. You can make color swatches to make that easier if you're into a lot of like doing a lot of coloring. But for for all the programs, it's always they have two main. No, actually, it's not even. It's like one main color and then outline. So like you kind of always have just like one or two colors activated, and to change colors, you actually have to then go up and switch around, and then there's a little bit of a back and forth, but there's not like necessarily a whole palette open for you all the time, even though there is. I know it's a little confusing, but I'm going to double click on that, and it opened up the color picker window. And it says foreground color, so you know which one it's doing. If I double clicked on the white one, come on, it says background color. So it's just a quick, easy check in case you like clicked in the wrong spot. And then we're going to add the color. They want it to be RGB 48, tab 138, tab 174. It's just a blue. It's a blue. All right. So now, again, this will be the first and last time you ever do this. Go up to filter. Oh, I'm going to turn everything off so you can see the wonderfulness that happens. And then I'll tell you why you'll never do this again. Filter or render. And which ones do I want? Clouds. That's what it does. Everybody clap for the program. Yay, you made horrible clouds. These are horrible. And I can see there's a textural pattern that happens in Photoshop, and the textural pattern happens in every one of the rendered things you do. If you're like, oh, I want that paper texture from Photoshop, I'll tell you right away, why did you use the paper texture in Photoshop? You're like, how'd you know? I'm like, because you can see a pattern. There's like this weird kind of like crossing. My eyes can see it. It's on 45s. And it goes through it. Maybe if you squint, like I could never see those hidden eye pictures, but I can see it. I know this a mile away, and these are not clouds. And why would you never do this? You guys are photographers. Take a picture of some clouds and use your own. You know, like that's what you do. I would never, if you did this on a piece as photographers, you should fail the grade. Like you should just be like, I need clouds. I have a whole, batch of cloud pictures I took as a photographer, or I can go online and find clouds. Never use Photoshop's rendered clouds. Like just don't. Like if you need something, just take a picture of that thing you need. Oh, I need a paper texture. There's thousands of paper textures for free online of people who scanned like archival papers. Like use that. Don't go to like these filters and like, oh, I don't know. There's some really bad ones in here. But yeah, don't fall prey to using these. So this is the last time that you will be using make clouds with this layer. There you did it. You made the clouds. Oh, and the book says realistic looking clouds appear behind the image. They're okay. It'd be much nicer if there was actually real clouds, but all right. What is this part? We're gonna add a new layer. Oh, okay. Dragging to add a new layer. Oh, that's kind of what we did before. Okay, so this is a roundabout way of adding another image to your Photoshop, but to me, it's like, it takes like 6 steps, and if you don't have double monitors, it doesn't make sense. And so like, they're like, okay, first thing we want you to do is kind of like make the Photoshop window smaller. And the only reason we're doing this is they're showing that it can be done. And then I gotta find my lessons. So I'm opening up part of my desktop is what we're doing. I'm finding my lessons. And then they want us to just bring in the flowers too, which all you have to do then is you can drag it directly from your desktop into the image. So sometimes that is quicker. Once in a while I do that, but I don't do like having to do this whole thing where I move my screen, find a folder, open it up, pull that over, seems a little bit like too much work when you can just do what they showed in the beginning, where you just go to File, Open, and, you know, place it in. It placed it in back here. So I'm going to find it and move it up. So that's all that one was about, is like adding that flower, but adding it in a different way. How many ways can you, you know, again, it's that age old thing with Photoshop. How many ways is there to do one thing? 15. You pick your favorite and you roll with it. They're just trying to show you like, oh, you can do it this way. You can do it that way. You can do it this way. Pull it in, position the flower in the lower corner. They have a lot of it off. Like they have it like this. There we go. I'm done. It's done. All right. We're going to do some work with the fonts. We're going to add text. We're going to adjust text. I'm going to move my flower all the way to the bottom, just above the pineapple. Again, you'll always be, you know, just know, rearrange your layers, kind of get used to it. Rearrange layers. All right. We're going to do some text and some text adjustments. So I'm going to be on the Hawaii layer. Make the Hawaii layer visible. You'll add text just below this and special effects to both layers. So they want us to deselect all the layers. I do that. So deselecting all the layers means they don't want any layers active when we start with the type tool. You can go up and they're like, go up to select and deselect layers. So I'm not on the layer. And I go up to select and deselect layers. My quick and dirty one is I just click somewhere off the artboard. Like instead of going all the way up here, going to select, clicking that, and then clicking that, if there's a big open space, like I'll be on beach and I'm like, I don't want any of my layers. I'll just go way over here, click once, and I'm pretty much guaranteed that none of my layers will select. I know that's a little bit weird, but it just, nothing is selected then. So I'm going to zoom.
You guys have been working on this for 30 minutes. How many of you have saved it? I will be that phone that you did not set the 30 minutes on.
All right. Then we're going to the type tool. And we're going to put in all the stuff that we can. I selected the type tool. I want horizontal type tool. Select the condensed font. We use Birch Standard. So do we all have that? I'm just going to type it in. The top one, Birch. I have it. I happen to have it up there. So I'm on the type tool. The first one is a font. Just type in Birch or something similar. Select the font style, regular. We'll leave that alone. The size, 36 points. Uh-oh. I'm going to hit 36 and I'm going to hit return. This is that one where I'm like, it always screws it up. They want us to space it out. Oh, I don't have that. All right. Is everything going all good?
Two things. So make sure you're on this chapter so you can see what font. iPhone? You don't have an iPhone charger. Do you have a
I don't have an iPhone.
Yes.
Well, I'll let that. That's a different problem. That's not a Photoshop problem.
Well, but actually, it's to be able to confirm her
Oh!
password so that she can get on to
Yeah, sorry.
Layers about layers. So what do you like? Your choices.
So if my version of Photoshop doesn't have all of the text options.
Oh, just pick a different one.
Right.
Yeah.
But is that something that like I can download later, like over the past time, or?
Yeah, you should be able to get Birch. Like, do you have the Adobe Creative Cloud? There's a font section in there, and this is an Adobe font. So if you open Adobe Creative Cloud, there's like a little F in the top corner, and then you click on that, and it'll like explore more fonts, and it'll give you this whole area of free fonts. It's amazing fonts.
I figured.
All right.
Not something like yet.
All right. I'm going to keep talking here. So across the top then, like they also said, select a tracking value. And I understand. So mine's not showing the tracking. I don't know if I click that more. No, I don't want that. Tracking is the spacing between letters. And I know that's beyond what you really need to know. So what I did is you go to window and we want to adjust the character. Character is a different way to say type or font. It's the characters. So when you open that, you'll get a new window. And there's this, they're all described as V8. The one that's kind of highlighted, that's the one they want you to type in 250 into. And it's just another area up at the top, you know, that supplements the work up at the top, but has more options. And then the other one is they want a, click the color swatch, select a shade of grassy green in the color picker. Well, I'm gonna select the green from my image. Let's do that. So it tells you to select a green, which, you know, I could go here and select a grassy green, or is there a nice green in my photo that I can click onto and have it match my photo perfectly? Not really getting anything I like.
What about up in the grass on the beach?
Oh yeah, I wasn't thinking of that one. Not getting as bright as I want. All right, I'm gonna go up. I want it a little bit brighter. I know, personal preferences. And then so again, across the top, and mine did that thing where it took off the sizing. So Birch, regular, 36 point, a greenish font, 250 for tracking. And then we're just gonna, oh God. And then we want it bold, full bold, which is this button, and full all caps. Please never do that. I don't know why they tell us to do that. That's so bad. And then they want us to do something that I think they took out, which is sharp. It's down here. This double A, here it's sharp. Oh, select crisp. This is something I never change either. And they don't describe why. And then I want centered, which is this. This is a lot of, like, it feels like a lot of steps for something that shouldn't be so many steps. But like once you know it, you're just like boom, 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 boom. But again, Birch, regular, 36 point, center align it's called. We have a green color, it's 250. It's full bold, full all caps, and crisp. And now we're just gonna type in Island Paradise. So I'm gonna click below the Hawaii, and then as you can see, it bumps it all the way to the side with lorem ipsum. Just leave it alone and just type in Island Paradise. I'm not going to hit return. Don't do that. Don't do your, after you're done typing, hit return thing. And I'm going to move it here because I know we're sometimes used to like, nope, return. You don't need to hit return because that'll add a return. There I am. I got it right there. We have text in there. I hate my color. I'm going to change my color. They did like a fluorescent green. So I'm going to change my green. Why? Because I can. It's that easy. We'll go fluorescent green, all right? Now, what I did then is once you're done typing, I went back to the move tool and you can move it around. Get it centered. Like, get it centered. How do I get it centered? Watch this. Like, there's so many click points, but if I just drag it and I watch for like these intersections to pop up, the one that goes, see my magenta line and it goes straight up through, that means that's the center of the document. That means my type is perfectly centered. Like, use those clues to help you. Like, I can check Hawaii. Oh, Hawaii needed to move over a little bit. Now it's perfectly centered. Don't use your eyeballs. There are so many tools within Photoshop, and it doesn't matter what you're working on. If you're adding stuff in, Like, if you want it centered, get it perfectly centered. Just be like, oh, that's good enough. Is like, we're not good enough. There's so many tools to get things like perfect, the way you want it or the way your mind sees it. Make sure you do those. All right, let's apply a gradient to a layer now. So now I'm going to select on the Hawaii layer. And I'm going to right click on the thumbnail of the Hawaii layer. All right, this is where that all important knowing where to do what you need to do. So my hand is going to be on the Hawaii thumbnail, and I'm going to right click, and I'm going to hit select pixels. And what that's going to do is it selected all the pixels that were on that layer that could be selected, and it puts the marching ants on them. Again, I'm on the thumbnail, not the gray box and not the word. I'm going to simply right click and hit select pixels. That's a total time saver, especially when like we're doing like that other job where I was like, make the layers with the seashell and make the bug. You can go back in and be like, oh, it's deselected, or I want to do something. How do you select like that work to like add stuff to it? It's just right click, select pixels. Like say, I think we do it later maybe, but if I like, for some reason wanted this flower selected, go on the flower layer, right click, select pixels, boom, marching ants around that flower. I didn't have to think about a thing. It's select, and then it's selecting the pixels. So it's actually selecting the flower, not the area around it. And then there's a way to reverse that if you ever needed to do that. But let's go back, Hawaii. I'm going to right click, select pixels. There we go. We got that rolling. And now I'm going to do they tell us to do this? Are we doing it right to the font? I'm going to make a new layer. This is that non-destructive thing. So I don't see in the book, select the Y layer in the left. Right click, blah, blah, blah. Third, start destroying it. So I'm going to make a new layer because I don't want to destroy the Hawaii layer. And all my stuff is selected. So when I go here, it's the same selection I have running. So now I'm going to go to the gradient tool. The gradient tool is this little box. And then we're going to go up here and we're going to check some things out. So I'm not sure what yours comes with out of the box, but you may need to change stuff. And I'm looking at the top here. I'm looking up at the top. And you can go here. I only have one, and it's called Circular Rainbow. I'm going to leave it be. This next one, I'm going to do gradient. I don't know what the classic gradient is. Maybe it has like a curly mustache. My blend here is, I'm going to keep it. It's from foreground to background. So it goes from green to white. So it's referencing these colors, foreground to background. But there are other ones. I often use this one a lot, which is foreground to nothing. And then there's black and white. But we want the foreground to white. All right. And that I'll just keep it at that. Again, that's one to play with. I use the gradient to nothing all the time. I use that for shadows and stuff. Woo, works great. Then across here, all different weird ways to make a gradient. This is a linear gradient. This is a circular gradient. This is like a cone gradient. This is middle out gradient, like a center point, and this is a diamond gradient. Whatever. We just kind of keep all those. Here's desert and then method smooth. That all stays the same. Now I have a crosshairs, and what you do is you click and you drag. And I'm going to hold down shift while doing it as well. Now when you click and drag, here's the thing I can never remember, which way it goes. So I click and I drag and I'm holding down shift, and it's going from green to white. Now, if I'm like, oh, I wanted it the other way. Oh. Basic preset foreground. Oh, they want us to change the color. Do they? Oh, they want us to have orange in there. Where did it say orange? Oh, mine's green, but we can change it to orange. That's hilarious. I'm missing where it says. Well, we can change it to whatever color we want. That's actually something that's in my instructions is like change the colors. So there we have it. Now, if I'm like, oh, I wanted the gradient the other way, I just undo and I slide it the other way. That's me, but I should probably remember that it's the starting point is the foreground color, the ending point is the background color. So wherever you start from, the end from. Now you can drag it sideways, you know, like any direction you want, across, and I'm just undoing. But again, if I want a gradient and I want it straight up and down, please hold shift. Shift constrains it again to those 15-degree increments. But there's no reason to be like slightly off. Like, oh, slightly off is fine. Like, no, it should be intentional. And then you go straight down. And I got a nice gradient. But like, oh, they wanted it up from the bottom. Cool. Look at that. It's beautiful. And it's on another layer. Which, again, above and beyond what the book says. So if you're like, wait, but I did it on a different layer because I wanted to be non-destructive. Speaking of non-destructive, my Kindle just went out on me. Please hold.
Mr. J.
Yeah.
Where did you find birch?
If it's not in there, just pick a different condensed font. All right, we're gonna apply layer styles. Oh, what are we gonna do? Is this one? Okay, select your Island Paradise font. Mine's all the way up at the top. We're gonna double click on it, right? Because we're gonna add the proverbial drop shadow, which is something I don't let my other students ever use. Drop shadows, I don't know. Everybody's like, it makes it look like it's coming off the page. I'm like, how often does something ever look like it's floating above the page? Never. It means not glued down. All right, so, oh, it's the final one. I couldn't see it. So we click on drop shadow, and then to pull up, it's still on blending options. Remember, like I clicked on it, but how come I can't adjust anything? Make sure you have the adjuster on, and then layer sidewalks, make sure the preview option is selected. None. And we're just gonna go through. Hello? All right, thank you. All right, so blend mode, multiply, perfect. Opacity, we're gonna change that to 75. I'm gonna zoom in actually. So you can see what's happening. So it's the island. So I went to 75, angle 78 degrees. This, I don't mess with that much. This like use global light. And I think what it does is if you have a bunch of effects on a bunch of different layers, it just auto picks like, if you're gonna add lighting or bevel, emboss, and shadow, God forbid that you do all that, it will always keep the lighting at the same angle. So it looks correct on the overall image rather than like the drop shadow looks like the light's coming from over here, but then you have highlights that look like they're coming from over here. Like it just says use global light and it applies it to every layer all the time. That's what that's about. Again, I'm not a drop shadow user. Distance, we want to change it to 5. But again, what happens when I pull it super far? Like, see what it does. Don't just like type it in and walk away. Like, they say 5, but what does distance really do? okay, it changes what would be the perceived distance between that's 0 and then it gets further away at a 78-degree angle from the point of origin. How is that? That's what it does. So I'm going to type in 5. Spread 30%. So I'm actually going to pull this out so you can see it. Spread is the how kind of like mushy it gets, how big it gets. So I'm going to crank spread, or not mushy, but like the fill, excuse me. The other one is mushiness. So like they want 30%, but again, it's another one like, see what it does. Cranked all the way out. That kind of looks weird. All right, let's go to 30%. Again, play with the sliders so you know what they do when you want to use them. I do it, again, all the time. I'm always like, I kind of want to add this effect, but I'm not sure how much. And so I'm like, okay, how should I do that? Now this is the blur one, size. How big does it go in size? Like super huge or super small? So we want 10 pixels. Again, it's just playing around. How do you know what to do? You don't. You just, it's visual. I'm just teaching you that you can. The rest is up to you. So for them, it is 5, 30, 10. 5, 30, 10. I don't think we mess with anything down there. Click OK. Yes.
Have you ever had a situation where you clicked on the gradient tool and you didn't get a gradient that allowed you to select it? She's on the gradient tool.
Do you have something? Do you have Hawaii selected?
Yes.
Are you on the correct layer?
Yes. Well, you said create an extra layer.
No, yep, I did. Yep. So we're on that layer. Let me try. And then I go gradient. Oh, it's there?
Yeah.
Okay. And then I'm gonna
Oh, the click and drag.
it won't show up until you make the gradient.
Okay, thanks.
Yes, it just doesn't populate it. So that's what I was doing earlier. You can have it go down, angle, left, right, up, down, like however you drag it. That's what it will do. All right, so the next thing we're going to do, and I'm going to tell you, I screw this one up all the time. Press Alt or Option. This is a key command. So I'm going to bring Island Paradise above the Hawaii. And then we can take those effects, those exact effects, and we put them on Hawaii by just dragging only the effects. So like literally this FX, and what do we hold? Alt on Windows, Option on a Mac. So if I hold down Option, I click and drag the FX. Can you see that what I'm holding? There's two arrows. There's the black arrow and the other arrow. The other arrow indicates a copy. And then it says it's holding FX. And all I'm doing, so I held down Option, I clicked on the effects, and I'm holding down on the, and then I'm gonna move it to the gradient layer. And what that does is it takes that exact effect I made and puts it on the other layer. It's very, very handy. It's one of those, I have to do it 2 times every time I do it because I always forget which button to hold. So to do that again, I created my drop shadow on Island Paradise, and I want the exact same drop shadow on Hawaii. So I'm going to hold down Option on my keyboard. I'm going to go over to the FX. I'm going to click and drag. And as soon as I start dragging, your icon, your little pointer should change. And I'm going to drag it to the gradient fill, and it puts the they're the exact same. Nothing changed. But then you can go in and change it if you want. Oh, and then we want to add a stroke. All right. I was like, what? What do I want to do more? So I added that down, and now I can double click, and I'm going to add a stroke. So I double clicked on Hawaii. I'm going to add a stroke, and I'm going to make sure that it's highlighted. Again, you're going to forget that 40 times. I do it as well to this day. How come it's not changing? Oh, I'm not selected on the correct layer. I wish they made it like blue. You know, like light gray isn't a really good indicator for me. Like I wish they like highlighted it, like make it a color change so you know, like, ding, you're on the wrong one. This change in gray is so little, it doesn't help. All right, and then we want a 4-pixel outside normal 100% opacity green. All right, perfect. Size 4. And then you can just do, you can't tab everything. Position outside. See how I moved it to the outside of my font? Blend mode normal. Opacity 100. Color, I can just click that green. You can go onto the image. I just clicked the green that was there. Look at that monstrosity of glowingness. Oh yeah, it looks pretty bad up there too. All right. And then you're done. And I hit OK, I'm done. So again, to see what you've done, you can see your effects are labeled on the layer in which you did the effects. Now we're going to select the flower layer. This, and then we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to double click. I'm going to apply a drop shadow. Furthest one down. Of course, why would you not do this in alphabetical order, but make people search for drop shadow, which is the one on the bottom? And then we're just going to go through. And opacity is 60. Distance 13. Spread is 9. Make sure the global light is on. I'm assuming size is just 10. Color, okay. So, color, okay. Opacity, oh, distance 22. Opacity 20. Why am I changing it? Do I check? Oh, we want the stoop. This is something. Yeah, I don't know what this does. Sorry, people. Satin. All right, so I did drop shadow. Now I'm going to go to satin. You will notice that it does nothing. I do this one so often, and I'm always like, I can't see the difference. But again, this is one of those, maybe some people can't. So I'm on satin now. This is step 11 in that area if somebody needs to know. And then I'm going to go, they're like, go to color next to the blend mode, and then pick a color, choose a color that enhances the flower color, such as a fuchsia hue. Okay, so I'm just gonna kind of like go in there. I don't know. This is artistic point right now. Do what you think. Then you do opacity 20. The other place to check things is like here in this box. This box is supposedly showing you what it's doing to your image. Yeah, distance 20. Again, this is something, I will say this. They're telling us to do it. Let's see if I can see a difference. Oh, I mean, it makes it pinker. There we go. Yeah, it made it pinker. You know, like if you wanted it pinker, great. And I'm gonna hit OK. And then there we have that. All right, and then we are going to adjust the other flower. And this is an adjustment layer. So we're gonna do the, we're gonna select flower 2. And in adjustment panels, we're going to do the single adjustment list and hue and saturation. So we're going to go up here to the adjustment panels. This should be pretty, you should be using this probably a lot, especially with photography. Hue and saturation. I'm going to make sure I'm on the one down. that it only affects the layer below it. And then if yours is truncated like this, you can go in the middle and pull down. So you can make more of that panel show up to help you out. And then they want the hue at 43, saturation at 19. And again, we're working with this guy down here. And if you want, you know, well, what does that do? Well, start to mess with him. Oh, that's trippy. Look at the inside of the flower. It changes opposite of everything else. That's gorgeous. So, you know, crank them. Why am I doing this? Just, well, crank it. See what it does. So now, but remember, why is it changing? I will get this. I will get this. I get this every time. A green pineapple. The pineapple shouldn't be green. It means that you didn't click this little button right here. See where my finger, come on, I want the hand. See where my finger's pointing? Watch my pineapple and watch the sky. See how the sky is purple and the pineapple's green? It goes back to normal and it only affects this flower. So don't forget about that. I get a green pineapple every semester. And I'm like, why is the pineapple green? Oh, I forgot to click on the one thing. Okay. Did that. Oh. All right. We're almost done. All right, we have two more things to do. One is just talking about, like, now we're going to change updating layer effects, but we're really not updating layer effects. We're just changing the Island Paradise. So it's like, select the Island Paradise layer. We're just getting into the mode now that we're going to keep going back and forth and fixing stuff. So I want the Island Paradise layer. I'm on there. In the tool panel, select the horizontal type tool. And then in the option bar, change the size of the font. So it's literally just showing you, like, oh, the Island Paradise, say I want it smaller. I can just go in here. I'm on Island Paradise. I'm on that tool. And if I go up to here, watch Island Paradise. If I reduce the font to like 30, it makes it smaller. I want it 32. I want it the exact size of Hawaii. Or pretty close. I'll go 33. There. So it's just showing, like, oh, I can now go back and forth, change things, add things, move it. And then for this final one, I really even shouldn't teach you this, but I will. It's adding a border to the entire thing. So select the move tool. For some reason, I'm going to zoom out. They say go to the postage stamp because we want postage stamp, and then move the tool, drag it to the middle, right? Oh, we're going to move the postage stamp a bit first. Get it lined up. Oh, they want it on top of the there. Oh, it looks so much better. And then, okay, select the Island Paradise. Okay, I'm going to make a new layer. I'm going to go up to select and then select all. And then select modify border. Select, modify, border. I get this thing that pops up over here. It's not showing my border. 10 pixels. And you know what? If this one doesn't happen, you guys don't have to do it because I don't like this. Oh, all right. So I did what it said. I said select modified border 10 pixels. It added a 10 pixel. So it counted out what it knows is 10 pixels. And then I'm going to go to edit and I can do fill. And I'm going to do foreground or background color, which is white, and hit OK. Now it's got a blur on it. I don't want that blur on that. Oh, it doesn't blur when it's closer up. Oh, I'm just going to hit OK and leave it. I wouldn't do that anyway. that adds nothing to the piece. So that's what I did, and you do it as well. Again, when I do this, I run through a ton of stuff that's out of the book, different ways to do it. Follow the book, do it once, do it again. I have modifiers in my assignment to change some colors, play around. So that is what the piece should look like. I have a recording. I will post the recording. You can use it on YouTube, watch me do it, fast forward it, reverse it, whatever you need to do. That's that section. Other homework. And then I'll ask questions. I'll stop recording and ask questions. So the other thing to do is you're going to have a free form assignment. It is all listed here, and you're going to make a little holiday, I want to call it holiday postcard. It is a travel postcard. You are going to find the favorite place in the world. You are going to create a postcard with all of these. You're going to create, like, it's step by step. Create a new 6x4 inch document at 300 DPI. You're going to have a background image. You're going to add image. You're going to add text and some effect. What do you mean? I don't get what you mean. Here you go. Look at the student example. This student did Ireland. So what are the key components to this assignment? There is a background image. There is type in the image. There are layer effects in the image. And there are 4 additional images placed in the image. You do not need to do it this. Don't just copy what somebody else did. This is just like the simplest down and dirty one I can give you. This is where you get creative. Wherever you may choose, you can like arrange things differently, have things in different spots, you know, like whatever you want to do. This is where you get to be artistic. So have some fun with it. But in the end, it is a large background picture with 4 images placed on top with some text that says where it is and some other fun accoutrement to make it interesting. Does that make sense to everybody? And all the directions are in here on the assignment. Now, there is a peer review. So this goes to a discussion board. And when we have these discussion boards, what I want you to do is after you turn yours in, this doesn't work for the first 2 people though. The first 2 people that turn it in are always like, oh, there's nobody else to look at. I have to go back and look at it again. But at some point before the assignment's due, I want you to look at other people's work. I want you to see what other people are doing. You pick 2 other students, you click on their work, and you type something. Hey, I really love the way you arrange the images on your piece. Hey, how did you do that effect? I didn't see how you did that. And you are going to start now sharing some more of the like non-book work, but we're going to start sharing our own work and other people can see it and you should share and be like, wow, how did you do that? And that kind of makes it more of a group effort. And that is part of your grade as well. So does that make sense to everybody? You just click on somebody else's work, you look at it, you reply to them like, hey, looks great. And then I go through and I do the assignment. So wonderful. I'm going to stop the recording. And then I am here until 2:30. I have to leave at 2:30. And I'm here for the next, what is that? 3 hours? 4 hours? 10:30 to 2:30. 4 hours to answer questions. Cool. All right.